We have just had qualifying on a Friday for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on a Sunday. It was eventful. You can't say it wasn't eventful. Two red flags in the first session, one after about 8 minutes for Nick de Vries, who sent it into the barriers at turn 3. And he could have, it looked very like he could have avoided this accident for me. I don't know. I don't drive Formula One cars, but it looked like an avoidable incident where he was going in and he clearly had enough time to see that it wasn't working out. He carried way too much speed in, and there's a clear escape road that's built for incidents like that where Nick de Vries could have gotten out of that incident, I thought, but it wasn't to be. And I have to think, is Nick de Vries going to be under pressure with Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Helmut Marko, Christian Horner? Because it hasn't been good these first 3 races, or 4 races now, let's say. And he's put himself in quite a bad position for the weekend. He's got a chance maybe to salvage some things tomorrow with the new format, but it's not looking good for Nick de Vries in these first couple of weeks or months. Another red flag nearly straight away, Gasly. After Alpine mechanics slaving away for 2 hours after he went on fire in practice, he binned it. He hit the wall, same place that de Vries hit the wall in a slightly different way, but so disheartening for the Alpine mechanics. I saw some of them just laughing because, I mean, what else can you do? But he binned it. Magnussen was told to retire the car also, which was disappointing for him. So out in Q1 we had Zhou Guanyu, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Gasly and de Vries. No massive shocks, no massive shocks. You would have expected Gasly to get out maybe, but there was a crash there. Q2 was uneventful, I want to say. Russell, Ocon, Albon, Bottas and Sargent out. The only big shock there was Russell. Mercedes seemed to be struggling this weekend for pace. It's really hard to get it right with just one practice session, but in Q2, Lewis Hamilton was 10th and George Russell was 11th, which eliminated George Russell. So they're struggling quite a bit, but George was optimistic that they can make it up tomorrow. He was saying, if you could choose a track to have a bad qualifying on, it would probably be Baku, which is fair enough. So we'll see tomorrow if they've got better race pace or if they can make anything out of this second shootout qualifying session that we've got. Into Q3, Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc set an identical time on their first run in the last session of qualifying, which was so cool to see. It's not something you see very much, and it's really something you don't see at all in the fight for pole. Apart from, was it 97? Jerez 97, where there was 3 identical times for pole. But it was a nice little throwback to that. I hope I'm right there. I'm going to get bullied by the stat people. Really nice to see them with identical times. And then Leclerc on pole by nearly 0.2 of a second, which is incredible. He is clearly the fastest man over one lap on the Formula One grid. He's fantastic. And if you look at the comparison between him and Sainz was 4th. He is a fantastic qualifier, so good on one lap. In equal machinery, better than Max Verstappen, because realistically, he probably, Max has got better machinery. Let's say it's more equal on a Saturday between Ferrari and Red Bull. In general, though, that Red Bull car is a lot quicker, and it will probably swallow Charles up tomorrow. I can't see Charles lasting very long in either the sprint or the main Grand Prix. We'll see what happens in qualifying or shootout qualifying, whatever it's called tomorrow. So the order was Leclerc, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Alonso, Norris, Tsunoda, Stroll and Piastri as the top 10. What a day for McLaren. Brilliant progress for McLaren in Azerbaijan. They brought updates and they've got to be really happy with that. They've got P7 and P10, both cars into Q3, which is mega for them. Fair play to Oscar. Oscar Piastri is already showing that he is doing a lot better. He's a lot closer to Lando Norris than Daniel Ricciardo was, and kind of proving already that McLaren made the right choice there in ditching Daniel and going for Oscar. And that's already it seems to me like that's going to be a really strong lineup for years to come for McLaren, provided Norris sticks it out, you know. Perez did really well. Perez was really close to Max, to be fair to him, and hopefully he can keep that up over the course of the season and give us at least something to keep us entertained in terms of a championship battle. But I doubt it. Hamilton 5th, fair play. You know, that's they would have taken that, I imagine. You know, it's kind of where they should be. Aston Martin struggled a bit more than they have in the rest of the season today. Alonso is 6th and Stroll is 9th, which is not the worst in the world, but I imagine they would have wanted to be beating Ferrari and Mercedes at least, and Alonso would have wanted to be 3rd, I would think, behind the 2 Red Bulls, but hasn't panned out that way. Anyway, there's a lot that can happen. I mean, this is kind of really only the start of the weekend. I don't know what you thought about the qualifying on a Friday. It felt weird to me. It felt like this much time shouldn't be consumed by competitive sessions for me on a Friday. It's also not nice. The majority of people are working while it's on and things like that. So I've seen some complaints about that. But you're never going to please everyone, and we're trying a new format. I'm not going to judge it until it's done. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow what happens. I'll have a reaction or a review to shootout qualifying and the sprint and then the race, of course, on Sunday. So thanks a million for watching. See you in the next one.